Welcome to another episode of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons Descent into Avernus. I almost said Avernus. Might as well be.
Same difference.
Descent into Avernus. Let's see. Let's start off here with introductions, and we'll do a recap of last episode. We shall start, as usual, with Kashcah.
Hi, I never know what to say. I'm the DM. Question mark?
That's true. And then
otherwise known as Grand Torturer.
Yep, she is the dungeon master. She'll be running the campaign. If we have an argument about what our characters can or cannot do, she is the one that says, "If
no,
we could." Yeah, she's the one that grants us our abilities and life. All right. Starting at the end there, I'm going to go by character names, and it's up to you to identify yourself otherwise. We'll start with Malvola.
I'm Nightcaste. Malvola is a Dragonborn Hexblade Warlock. I'm not really sure what else to say, so passing it off.
See what I mean?
And then next to...
you've been doing this for years.
Next to Nightcast, we've got Coyra.
Hi, I'm Shy. I'm playing the character Coyra, who is a druid, and yeah.
Yep.
Also don't know what to say, so...
Also a half-elf. And
yes, indeed.
Shy also runs a Twitch channel, and you can see that at Shiniki? Shiniku, sorry. At twitch.tv/Shiniku, which is, I'll leave it to Shy to spell it. Yeah. Can you spell that, Shy?
Yeah, it's SHYNIEKE.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll have it in the description below, so you guys can click on it there. In the future, I'll have some kind of overlay where we can actually have, some links and stuff like that for people to see. But we'll move on here to Flynn.
I'm Nobby for those on Discord, and that's all that matters on that. But I'm playing Flynn, a halfling monk who's a little obnoxious, pun intended.
Very well done. And then next in we've got Thorn.
I am Ghostwoods. Thorn is an elven ranger. In my professional life, I write books, puzzles, and RPG material as Tim Todopoulos. And you can find me on Twitter as Ghostwoods.
And we'll have that information for those on YouTube in the description below as well. And I myself am Vallen Frostweaver. I will be playing Palkas, a half-orc wild magic sorcerer. Nicely done. Who will be having lots of fun with the party. So let's get into the recap. Do you want to do that, or shall I do that here? Kashcah.
Go for it.
All right. What I have currently is last time we were in the Elfsong Tavern, which you can see here on screen for those that are watching now. And we were there, and a gang and its leader showed up by the name of Deadeye. They came into the Elfsong Tavern. They were looking for Tarina, who was a person we had been talking to, trying to find information about the cultists that we were supposed to try and eradicate. And but obviously our conversation was interrupted, and we had to then defend her and stop the Deadeye and his gang from further injuring others and disturbing them from drinking their drinks. Of which we did. We quickly put them down, as well as the ogre outside pretty much finished off the last one there. Tarina was more than forthcoming with any information after that. We did receive an item from the group, I believe, as well. But and let's see, she informed us that several blocks away to the northwest was a bathhouse, which seems to be the source of these cultists. Therefore, we pursued them we pursued that clue information to find this bathhouse. We took a bath, cleaned ourselves up a little bit, and then decided to come back later on that night under cover of darkness and try and find a way into the secret areas that we had discovered during our normal bathhouse visit. That and Palkas was also complaining a lot about not being at full capacity, and everyone was like, fine.
Palkas is such a whiner.
Totally. He just does it with a deep voice. All right.
Don't forget about blowing the bubbles.
Right.
That was an important bit.
Many bubbles were blown during the investigation of the bathhouse. And I'm sure they won't be the last bubbles blown either.
Indeed.
So, Kashcah?
Okay, so yeah, you headed back to the Elf Song for a night or some rest. Maybe we'll see if you decide to stay the whole night or not. So kind of put your tokens upstairs. I think maybe head upstairs. Your group headed upstairs, had some food, acquired a couple of rooms. You've got the keys to this room. Oh, except you probably can't see that. This room and this room. So you've got to kind of share rooms. There's some other occupants that are kind of taking the other rooms of the tavern here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, before we get too deep into it, thank you very much. Dragons ate my breakfast for Palkas token. More are incoming, but this is the first one done, and I couldn't resist putting it on there because it's so damn cute.
Chibi is amazing.
But you headed back to the Elf Song.
Makes it look so harmless.
So innocent. What could possibly go wrong?
You're not far off.
Have you seen him fight?
That's when his head explodes
That's
at you
true.
run.
So yeah, you've acquired a couple of rooms at the tavern, got some food, headed back upstairs, and kind of hanging out up there. One thing strange that you would have noticed is partway through the evening, there was a plate of food delivered to the occupant of this room. So it just seems a little strange. Like everybody else, eats in the main kind of rooms of the tavern, but this person has food delivered to them, it seems like nobody's kind of batting an eye at it either. It seems very kind of run of the mill daily routine for them. So while you're sitting there, you would kind of hear some perhaps banter from other patrons who tend to kind of come and go from this room up here. So you would kind of hear that I'm like some comments about the refugees being advanced scouts for an army that's preparing to attack Baldur's Gate. There's also kind of some rumors running around about captains of the Flaming Fist bickering over who should be in charge now that Older Ravengard is gone. There's also kind of speculation about who'll be the next Duke. Everybody seems to be assuming that Older Ravengard is just gone, like out of the picture completely.
Do we know who Older Ravengard is?
Yeah, you would have heard from when you kind of picked up your mission. You would have heard that Older Ravengard is was previously kind of the commander of the Flaming Fist, and one of the 4 patriarchs of the city. So Captain Zodge would have shared that with you. So probably remember that. And you probably kind of know, if you've spent any time on Baldur's Gate, which I'm pretty sure everybody has, then you kind of know who the 4 patriarchs are, and aware of kind of older Ravenguard's status within the city. So that's kind of the rumors that you're picking up on around the tavern as people come and go. And it is kind of winding down. Business is winding down. The sun is set. Patrons are kind of slowly making their way out of the tavern. It seems to be getting quieter and quieter downstairs as people leave. So over to you guys.
As soon as we finished eating, regardless of suspicious, servings going on at this room up in the left here, Palkas probably would have just retired straight away in preparation for the evening. One-track mind focus, just knowing needs to rest to regain the strength so he could smash things again later.
And you may have already checked out the 2 rooms that you've got. They're very kind of, basic.
Cozy.
Yeah, I mean, they will kind of wheel in some. Well, not wheel in, but they've got these like concertina kind of style cots, that they'll set up if you need extra bedding space. So they'll come and kind of expand some of those, and they unroll this kind of very thin looking mattress on top of them. So you can definitely kind of get some sleep in there. It does get kind of cramped though. If you're going to start piling beds in there, then
Palkas just has a very thin bedroll in his pack, so he'd just lay that out and on the ground and just go there. He's probably known by the party for not really caring for very soft, comfy beds.
Okay. The other thing that happens is actually you encounter this on your way into the tavern when you're returning. You see actually a body being removed from the tavern, and it's your bard friend actually. And you don't see any like immediate wounds on his body, but his face is constricted as if he was suffocated actually. So that's the other thing that happens.
Death by snoo snoo.
How did I know that's what you're going to come up with?
So there we go. So over to you guys. So Palkas, you're
In game terms, to get away from that one, I'm just Flynn's gonna pick a spot between the doors, sit down, and spend most of the time while we're waiting, meditating, and mentally preparing and kind of just lowering the body energy, so to speak.
okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, Flynn's an elf. He just needs a chunk of floor space to sit on.
Well, in that case, I'm taking the bed.
Take it. As I was gonna say, Coyra is also used to sleeping wherever, so she can just sleep wherever. It doesn't bother her too much.
Palkas has a special hat.
That's right. I forgot about the nightcaps.
Before I go about the nightcap, though, probably while we ate our food, Palkas would have asked the server if they knew anything about what happened to Avernus. I have to say, it's something that wouldn't have just like, oh, Avernus dead, I'm going to bed. And it probably would have asked.
Okay. Roll a charisma check for me. I want to see how friendly this server is towards you. Okay. So
the non-scarred side.
Yeah. So the server says online. No. She's kind of got the tray of food and whatnot, and she says she looks over, kind of sideways glances at this door here, and then turns back to you and says, "Don't go in there."
And he'd probably give a
and very quietly, kind of under her breath, like she's trying to conceal that she's saying this to you.
I guess he'd probably look for an opportunity before retiring to bed. Sorry to monopolize the party's time here, but he'd probably try and find an opportunity to try and like catch her by herself, whether it be on the stairs or in a corner or something like that, and just try and ask her, that was my friend. I need to know what happened. What can you tell me? More or less.
She says, so you can catch her on the stairs, right? Kind of as she's coming back up, you can be like heading down or, something like that. Catch her there. And she says, that, she says, is Alan's room. She says, and he has it well guarded. He shouldn't have broken into there, your friend.
Who's Alan?
She points, as you guys are at the stairwell, she points at the barkeep.
Oh. Oh. Okay. So
she says, doors are locked for a reason.
And Palkas would return to the meal or the people at the table and share the information hushedly about what happened with Avernus. And and then retire to bed.
Death happens.
Death happens. All right.
When your number's up, it's up.
Anything anybody else wants to do? We've got before Palkas goes to sleep, do you discuss a plan, or are you just like, Palkas is just gonna...
Well, I guess, under cover of darkness, try and get up sometime around like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., maybe like 2 a.m.-ish.
Well,
Plan?
The spellcasters need 8 hours, so
yeah.
As soon as the spellcasters have 8 hours.
Yeah.
Wait, plan? You mean we're not going to just wing it?
No, we're totally going to wing it. It's just about getting out.
Okay, just making sure.
We try and break in or enter or just find a way into the area that we that was cordoned off before. I mean, that's the general idea, right? We're trying to do it under the cover of darkness to avoid detection and loss of innocent life.
Yeah.
And hopefully not loss of ours.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe the dirty deeds are done during the evening.
I would like to get like a full bottle of wine from the barkeep before they're done for the night, kind of thing. Before we go, like any of us go to bed. Well, maybe after a couple people, but before I go to bed.
Yeah, sure. Alan says, anything specific you're looking for?
Cheap and get you drunk.
Says, that I can do, and reaches under the bar and kind of, kaboom. Here's this bottle of unlabeled, can't quite tell what color it is because the bottle is brown glass, and it's
could be neon in there.
Make you glow in the dark, who knows.
Hey, that'd be handy for me to be able to see.
She says, I'll take a silver from you for that.
I will drop her the coin and head upstairs.
Okay.
Before going to bed, Coyra actually asks Palkas to make sure she's awake when we head out, because once she falls asleep, it's not too easy to wake her up. And she has faith in Palkas in waking her up. Yeah.
Okay. And Palka says, I'll do what I can. And pulls out this really cheesy looking, it's actually just like a triangle, that flops over with a little ball in the end. It's got like little stars and moons on it. It looks like it's made for a kid and stuff. He puts it on and he just kind of goes, and he just goes to sleep, and he gets this grin on his face, and he just relaxes and just snoozes away almost instantly.
I'm just going to sit here, meditate, pretend I don't know these people.
Wise choice.
Or
I
try
get
to.
it.
Okay. So is there any particular way you are making sure that you wake up at a specific time, or you're just kind of
I'm relying on Palkas.
Palkas for you?
I'm relying on dice rolls.
I'm figuring, even if I doze off, well, Thorn doesn't exactly sleep
Oh, that's
because
true.
he's an elf. So the odds are he'll know when
Mhm.
and can get everybody else up.
Okay, all right. So yeah, between the two of you, Thorn and Flynn, Flynn, you do see at some point Alan, right? Our friendly neighborhood barkeep does kind of head upstairs and kind of like looks at you a little quizzically, before like producing a ring of keys and keeping an eye on you as they unlock the door and kind of open the door and in they go.
I'll give him a couple ohms so that he knows what I'm doing.
Okay. Right. And it's not too long actually before you hear snoring from that room as well. So that's quite
Search
obvious.
through my pouches for something to use as earplugs.
Okay, so yeah, pretty much the tavern kind of clears out. You hear kind of, Flynn, you'll hear the doors being locked downstairs, and so anything anybody wants to do between now and like 3 a.m. when the 8 hours have passed? Maybe a little later.
They have
4
invented Sharpies, so that's out. Is there a fireplace downstairs
There is, yep. This is one right here.
with like a bit of charcoal?
Uh-huh.
I'm so tempted. Well, we've got at least one heavy sleeper.
You guys would know that Palkas actually ended up purposefully finding and obtaining this cap that he has, because previously he suffered from extreme night terrors after coming out of prison. So
Yeah, I think we're going to leave that door closed.
but
We'll let Thorn wake him up.
For now.
But ever since he's been putting the cap on at night, things have been going well.
It's a good cap.
Thorn actually has a very similar device. He keeps it on the entire time under his hood.
I think you're who he got it from.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So the morning kind of creeps by. Gets very dark outside, and kind of as the city gets as quiet as it's gonna get. So never fully peaceful, but does quieten down a fair amount. You do still hear kind of the occasional cart rumbling past outside. Just general kind of movements. And Thorn and Flynn, you're pretty sure that it's around like you've got probably a couple of hours until dawn, and you're pretty sure that they've had their you guys have had your kind of break enough of a rest to restore any magical abilities that you have. So
are there any brooms lying around?
are there any what?
Brooms.
Brooms? You don't see
Well,
any.
I don't have a quarterstaff, so I'm thinking of something I can wake people up with. Just in case.
Wake Malvola up normally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm trying to keep safe from.
And while Nobby's hunting around for furniture to destroy, I'll go in and wake Palkas and Shy as well.
Okay. So Flynn,
No
you can
stakes involved.
head downstairs and see if you can find anything.
Yeah, if he's going to be the brave one, I'll let him do it.
Okay. Alright. So anything you want to do in the elf song before we kind of move back to the other maps?
I don't think so. Just leave as quietly as possible.
Are there any windows
Not-
where we are?
There's one in each of the bedrooms. This central kind of dining room, though, this room here doesn't have any.
And never mind, I was going to look out the window while I'm waiting for them to get up, but I'll just head downstairs and get ready to leave.
Okay.
Palkas would reach over to Coyra, just put a hand on Coyra's shoulder and say, "It is time." And then
Coyra
gently walk
actually
out.
wakes up because of that. The voice of Palkas is enough to wake him.
I wonder if there's a place where I can buy a Kong.
She's so beans.
Sorry, I'm in a mood today.
I don't know. You're gonna have to ask all the refugees. They're all fighting over conchs right now, so conch sales have gone through the roof. Sorry.
Well, if nothing else, I could see if I can find a horn or something. Something to help wake people up.
I thought you said gong.
I thought
That's
you
what I
said
said was gong.
Oh, I thought you said a
gong as well,
conch,
that's why I
like
was what
like
the-
a shell type
No,
thing.
like gong.
Oh,
Gotcha. My bad. That's much more appropriate.
Anyway, moving
Although-
on.
So when you head downstairs, you do see Clank is still stationed, in the same spot that they were when you first entered the tavern. So still kind of just standing there. I don't know if you want to do anything about that, or
Actually, Palkas has nothing for or against the suit of armor. Just kind of
Say hi
ignores
to
it
it on
and
the way
quietly moves past.
yeah, Clank makes no motions as people move past.
I kind of clap him on the shoulder and give him a head out.
Okay. Yeah, Clank makes no motion to kind of stop you or say anything, or it's kind of tough to tell if he's sleeping or do animated suits of armor sleep? What is?
know.
I mean, who knows?
Do androids
Fascinating.
dream
We
of
make
robot
arrangements
sheep?
for somebody to unlock the door and let us out.
So you can unlock the door from the inside. Actually, that's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not a problem. It's more like keeping people outside from coming in unexpectedly than keeping people inside going out. Okay. All right. Let's move back then to the bathhouse map. Well, before we do, just a kind of a quick description of how the city streets are. It is kind of there's a bit of a fog coming off the river, and it is kind of just misty throughout the streets, and there's this like clingy dampness to the air. It's not particularly cold though, so it's kind of almost even more unpleasant that way. There's you do see kind of the usual city nightlife, or wildlife I should say, There's kind of, you see rodents running around, right? There's rats, there's cats chasing them. You see the occasional kind of dog slink past as well. Mostly cats, but slinking around, chasing after rats and mice. You do see some kind of folks that look like they're going about their very early morning business. You see a guy with a cart that's loaded with kegs. Can't tell if they're full or empty, but his cart is kind of rumbling along the street, and he kind of will do the morning nod to you as his cart kind of rumbles past. But other than just the occasional person, the city is kind of quiet. You don't see a lot of sign of the Flaming Fist at the moment. They're not particularly active in the streets right now.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So
As we approach, should we approach under stealth, like trying to be quiet and everything?
I'm kind of thinking that I would like us to stop and look, like, from the corner, kind of thing.
Okay.
Assuming this is, on the middle of a block or something like that, but don't just walk right up to the door and then, now what do you do?
Yeah, that's probably a good thing that you'd mentioned that, because Palkas probably would normally.
Wasn't there a wall or something around the area?
yeah, so this bit here, there's a wall around the garden area. But yeah, you can certainly stop kind of a couple of buildings away and just kind of observe if you want.
Well, my main thing is, do we see any activity, any people specifically at this location?
Yeah, so do you want to kind of hang out for a bit, like a little bit, like hang back and just kind of stay there for a short while watching, or how would you like to find out?
I would want to give it a couple of minutes. I don't want to be loitering to the point that we stand out.
Okay.
Is there some place nearby that, say, could be climbed to get a vantage point to look over the walls?
Yeah, you think? I mean, there's a couple of buildings that have a single story lean-to, where you think you could perhaps boost up on there and peer over the wall, stand up on the roof.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to get up to a nearby roof so I can, even though I don't have dark vision, I can at least get some idea what's might be going on in the courtyard.
Okay. Yeah, so Malvola kind of, while you guys are all standing there kind of just watching the gates for comings and goings, Flynn quickly shimmies up onto lean-to. Flynn, you're kind of using some of the window frames and shutters and whatnot to kind of clamber your way up there. And
Small like a monkey.
Yeah. And so you're kind of peering over the top. And make a perception check for me, please.
I love that our scout is the only one that can't see in the dark.
That roll kind of reflects it a little bit.
You don't see any activity within the walls, in the areas that
Whisper down that doesn't look like there's anything going on in the courtyard. Then it all looks dark over there, so.
Great, must be safe.
Okay.
Times like this, Palkas kind of stands out a bit because he just lumbers about. So he kind of just follows Thorn a bit for the most part, trying to imitate what he can of it.
Give you guys
I'll
some more
scamper
space.
down and see what everybody's wanting to do.
Yeah, I'll give you guys some more space. So if you want to kind of arrange how you're approaching the gates, or are you going up and over a wall, or what's the plan?
There you go. Arranged.
Well done.
Everyone hang back about 30 feet and I'll sneak up to the gates and see if I can see if they're accessible, or if we have to go over a wall, or if it looks like there's anything going on in there.
That's a good idea.
I take it the area where we kind of started is like the main thoroughfare.
Yeah, like this area out here is kind of the, yep, exactly the thoroughfare, the road.
So
I'm going to see how climbable this section of wall is.
Okay, so you're gonna climb the wall. Thorn, are you approaching the gates and kind of
I'm
peering
stealthing
through?
it, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. And Flynn, are you doing the same? Trying to be sneaky, or are you just
Yeah.
okay? Then I'll have a stealth check from you as well, please. Okay. So
I'm sneaky.
yeah. So Flynn, you're able to kind of use the corner of the wall to kind of climb your way up there, and you can kind of balance on top of the wall for a moment if you want.
Yeah.
Thorn, you're kind of peering through the gaps between the gate and the walls, and yeah, you still don't see anything from inside, or still don't see any movement in the courtyard.
I'm also trying to see if the gates seem locked or chained or barred or otherwise secured.
When we came here before, they didn't appear to have the ability to be locked.
No, but you can always stick a chain through them and then padlock that if you want.
Okay.
Yep, that's true. But in this case, the gates do not appear to be locked.
I will cautiously push one open without moving.
Okay.
Or pull one open.
Yep. So you can there's a lever style handle, push on that and just swing the gate open, and it does open.
Okay, I'll wave everyone else up.
Well, it doesn't seem like a horror film so far. Otherwise, it'd go.
How high is it from like the top of the wall to like the roof?
Probably. You could probably get up on the roof if you want. It's maybe another like 3 feet or something. Till the. If you imagine it being like a pitched roof, probably gets up on the lower end of the pitch over here.
I just don't remember if there were like any skylights or anything like that. We could get a view inside.
I don't think
It
we
was all
remember
stained
to ask
glass
that
windows,
question.
wasn't it? It was all stained glass windows, as I remember.
Around the outside, but I don't think any of us thought to look at the roof, at the vaulted ceiling.
Did you ask?
I just
about,
remember there was vaulted ceiling. That's it.
Yeah.
What about this one here, one that you're right next to?
So I'm going to go up to the roof and kind of look around, see if I can find any kind of skylights or anything like that. Something that would potentially give us a view inside.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yep, you can kind of grab hold of the edge of the roof with your fingers and boost yourself up onto there. So while Flynn's doing that, what's Team Gate doing?
Well, Coyra is thinking, since the gate is open, why don't we just go inside and maybe hide behind those bushes?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll come up to here and kind of try to stealth in, just make sure that no alarms sound. I don't know, huge flaming balls of death that spring out of a fountain and smack me in the head or something like that. Usual.
Okay.
Thursdays.
All right.
Palkas flattens himself up against the wall and keeps and just tries to keep an eye on Thorn around the corner, but also so that his form isn't visible through the window.
So is everybody else being stealthy, or is it just Thorn?
No, I would like to try.
I am.
I'll try to.
Do you want me to make another roll, or
I'll have to find it.
Yes, please.
It's almost at the very bottom of the skills list, which is on the left side.
Oh, this is gonna be hilarious.
Sheet.
Oh yeah, knowing Malvola.
I pull out my drum kit.
Holy crap!
Hey, I've looked.
I am stealthy monk.
So there's this
That's
big.
a lot of great rolls and one ungreat roll.
Well, you know.
Why do you
Except
think all
those of
you
us-
guys passed? Got me with
Except
my
those of us using up the
boombox.
great rolls are going to have crap rolls when it comes time to fight.
Yeah, Malvola is over kind of by the wall, like beatboxing, you know, because he's walking and you look.
Hey, with my nat 20, I'll say
What's
that
going on?
I successfully shush him.
Benefit of
Malvola found
living in
every
nature.
leaf, dead leaf, and branch to step on along the way.
So Flynn, you're up, checking out the roof, and you see that there are no skylights or kind of like, you know, openings where you could see inside. And Malvola, I think what happens is your flail kind of clanks loudly against you know, something else metal that you have on your person, maybe like your dagger, or well, that might be like in sheath or whatever, but maybe like against your crossbow or
Yeah.
Yep. So
I'm going to drop down behind Thorn.
oh, your chain shirt. Yes, that's what.
For those
Yes.
if I may interrupt for a brief moment, for those that don't know, the green number 20 means that I rolled a natural 20. I don't have a bonus on my dexterity modifier, it's a 0, but that means a critical success in most cases. Not always does that mean anything extra special happens, but if I were to also roll a 1, that would typically be a critical failure. Sometimes there are extra circumstances under both.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Thank you.
Mhm.
I asked it in the Discord as I didn't want to interrupt.
No worries.
No,
So-
it's fine to ask either place, dude.
Mm.
yeah, I agree.
Okay. Well, I'm going to turn to Flynn and quietly mutter, I think this place is just an unguarded front. Let's just go in, tell the others. Then I'm just going to head up to the door and wait for everyone else to kind of form up.
We're going in like gangbusters. That's why I turn around and whisper to the people behind me now.
Palkas pulls out the maul.
Not quite that excessive.
and then lowers the
Quiet,
maul.
but we're going straight in.
Right. Palkas
This
moves
isn't
up
a full breach.
and waves Coyra.
I don't know, crazy people listening to the elf.
Well, you've got like what, a
Okay.
+6 to your stealth, so you know more
I'm
what you're doing right now than any of
pretty
us.
That's true.
Okay, plus
Okay.
what?
6.
Gee, I thought I was doing good with a +5.
Well, you are.
You both
Yeah,
crit
Have you
assault
seen
the
my roll?
Yours has a negative to it?
No. No, that's the I put the one that gives you a penalty into strength.
Yay! Well, I'm just going to shrug to Flynn and wander on in. See what happens.
So you
So
tried the door.
each of us on one door, we open them
Oh.
at the same time?
Is it locked?
It is locked.
Okay. Well, in that case, I should try to
Okay,
unlock
push and, something wrong here.
it. Do I just click on that? Does that work?
That does work.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, so you're able to kind of break out the thieves' tools, and after a couple of seconds, you just able to shimmy them into the right spot, and you hear the very satisfying click as the lock pops open.
Okay.
You actually
Now,
hear a
this is
slight.
one where it goes wrong.
You hear a slight grunt of disappointment behind you.
Yeah, hang on. Before anybody busts a move inside. So you open the doors, right? And are you both kind of just doing that thing where you just throw open the doors and go in at the same time? Is that...
Well, not necessarily throw them open, but kind of push them open slowly. I'm crouching so that I'm even smaller than normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to try and stealth in up to here.
You know, anything that comes flying in my direction will go over my head and at whoever's behind me.
Okay.
Not
Thank
intentionally,
you
of
so
course.
much.
Alright, so you get just to actually don't even make it that far, I'm afraid. You get about here, and you're suddenly kind of pounced on, set upon by these humanoid size creatures, medium size, kind of. They are wearing dark cloaks, hooded cloaks, and they seem to have some fairly wicked looking daggers on them. And this person here, let me, as you can see them now.
So glad Mel called ahead while we were outside.
Should have checked traffic.
This guy is going to try and stab you, Thorn.
Wow. Okay.
So he rolls an 18 on his to hit.
It's an ambush.
18 hits.
Okay. And he does 3 points of piercing damage.
Rude.
Yeah, I've had worse.
Flynn, were you heading in at the same time?
I have a quick question.
Yeah,
You,
sneakily at a crouch.
you say like he rolls 18 and it hits, is what Ghostwoods. How do you see that it hits or that it doesn't?
If it's...
You compare the
Doesn't matter
roll
the
to your
class.
armor class.
Is it same as a miss? Is that right?
No, same as a hit, actually.
Same as a hit.
Okay.
I forget.
How do I make this so that you can see them?
And Kashcah does rolls, most of which are going to be secret, so we don't get to see them.
Yeah.
Well, I would rather you did, actually. I think it just moves gameplay along a lot faster, but I don't
I
see
always
how
like it
that
when she
is
does a
there.
roll and you get to see the name of the character and it says, Chieftain. And you're like, okay,
Gonna
that's the
kick
one
your
we gotta
ass.
go after.
So this is actually very fitting, right? Because this guy tries to stab whoever's coming in the other door and completely misses. They rolled a natural one, so and that's very fitting because Flynn, you were kind of crouching down, so they're trying to stab somebody much taller, and you feel this
And even
kind
if
of...
I was standing up, I'm only 3'1".
Yep. You hear this kind of, this arm swings wildly above your head as this guy tries to stab you.
So you're a quarter orc. Because I'm a half
No,
orc.
right now I'm a quarterling. Instead of a halfling, I'm a quarterling.
That works.
Okay, so that's their round, and I think now we should roll initiative.
Oh,
They got a surprise round on you, unfortunately.
for those that might have forgotten how to do it, click on your character, then click initiative in the top center of your character
Oh, you know what
sheet.
helps? If I open the initiative tracker. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah, I
wow.
was wondering if you
Roll
were
again?
open that.
Yeah, do it again. Obviously, she's got to have the
Okay.
turn order open. My bad.
Oh, no, it's...
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Being my big, strong 9.
At
Yes.
20 this time.
And that 3. Nightcast. What are you doing?
Still half in the bag.
You're sandbagging it is what you're doing.
That's what you get for drinking before you...
Hey,
Why
I
am I
never
not showing
opened that
Bottle of
bottle.
wine.
No, that was intended to be like, I'm gonna spill some of it on myself and on Palkas, and we're gonna start singing and staggering up the road. If there were people at the gate, that's why I wanted to stop down the street.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Why am I not showing up on the...
Oh,
Was
you
there
have to
something else
click...
I had to do?
Yeah, sorry, click on your token
Mhm.
on the battle map.
Yeah.
And then click initiative
Yeah.
on your
Well-
character sheet.
3 times his charm.
It's all right.
Sorry.
Just
sorry.
warming it up.
There we go.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm
Okay.
still learning.
Okay. All
And
right.
see, everyone sees the learning process.
So, actually, quite appropriately, Thorn, you get to retort immediately.
Okay, well, I'm gonna stab him with my short sword.
Okay.
Perhaps if drawing the short sword is the action, then I'll draw the short sword. So I have my thieves' tools open last time.
I think we'll call that a bonus action to switch, and because I think you would have been kind of doing that as you walked in.
Okay, great. Draw and stab them. And also, while I'm doing that, shout to the others, game on!
Okay.
Great. Now you alerted anybody else that was here that we're here.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah, pretty. I mean,
Hey, let a halfling have a little bit of hope.
Hope!
helps if I look at the AC. That hits them fairly solidly.
Oh, nice.
Apparently, robes don't have a very high armor class bonus.
Oh,
If you-
I kicked it up there, didn't I?
Hey,
Okay, there.
okay.
Right. Sorry about the rogue roll.
No worries. Why can't I? Oh, okay. My bad. All right. You seem to do a pretty solid wound to this person, this cloaked figure. And they let out a muffled kind of oomph as you like run them through. But they are still standing.
Excellent.
And now they are going to retort. So there's going to be more stabbing.
The stabbing.
The stabbing has begun. So
All
this
the stabbing and no stabby stabby.
yeah.
Not today.
So this is 14 against you, Thorn.
That's a miss.
Okay. Right, and then this guy here is going to try and stab at you again, Flynn. Sees where you are now, but still misses with a 6. Wow, that guy sucks.
Ooh, he sucks.
He
Kashcah?
does suck. Hello.
Or I'm just that good.
I never asked, is it lit inside?
No, it is not.
Okay, thank you.
That's a very good question. Thank you for reminding me.
Just
of
thinking
these
we would have
things.
seen that through the windows, so...
Yeah, and that's why I didn't say anything. Okay, so another guy kind of springs up from behind the bench over here, and he's going to make his way over here, and I'm afraid he's going to also swing at you, Thorn. But he misses with a 10, so these guys are not particularly... And then hearing, this door, this door over here opens, and stepping out is this slightly different looking figure. Let's see, do I have a... Oh, I do. Cool. I have a handout.
Oh boy.
There we go. This guy steps out.
Oh, he looks friendly.
He does.
Yeah.
He's got a pet.
How
on a
cool
chain.
does he look?
That's why I got a haircut.
What are you trying to say about my necromite?
Is it
Merfolk?
strange that I kind of want his robes?
I kind of want his
Yes.
skull.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want the skull too.
Yeah, it's an aspirational look. There's no doubt about it.
Well, you know, I've been sporting the ragged look, so and those robes would go perfect.
Okay.
I just might have to take him in a little bit.
Right. So he kind of reaches out with this very, like, his hand is like got some serious nails on it. They look all kind of long and pointed and yellowed and stuff. And he raises his like beady eyes and looks at you, Flynn, and reaches out with this kind of clawed hand motion and is going to kind of fire off something. But I'm guessing that a 9 does not hit.
If it's against my AC is 15.
Yeah, no, okay. So he looks all cool and stuff, but fails. All right, Coyra,
They're
you.
afraid to hit the halfling.
Yeah, exactly, Kalima.
Shakti-de.
So Coyra, you hear a lot of activity going on. You heard Thorn say "game on," and now there's it sounds like there's a fight in the bathhouse.
Sting, stab.
I feel like I should help my friends out, and I would go in, but I need to know how many tiles can I move again? How do I see that?
So you can move
What's
6.
your movement?
You can move 6 tiles.
Yep.
Each tile is 5 feet, and you have 30 feet movement.
Diagonals are the
And-
same as going straight
Okay.
lines.
That was what I was gonna ask next, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles that I can move. And I need to take out my scimitar, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, you see 3 of these cloaked figures, hooded cloaked figures, and they have these wicked kind of curved daggers in their hand, and trying to stab at Thorn and Flynn, and then there's this guy over here who looks very shady.
While I'm grabbing my scimitar out, I'm trying to let the others that are still outside of the room know, kind of what's going on.
Okay. All right. Do you want to attack one of them, or?
Sure,
Okay.
if I can remember how. I'll attack the one in front of me.
Good choice.
Was just clicking on it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh,
That
nice.
hits him. Yep.
Nice.
Nicely done.
Better than chipping wood.
Then you just click on the word scimitar in chat, not on your
Yeah.
sheet. Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Getting some solid hits here, people.
Yep. So he, you do a solid wound. Why can't I click on him? You do a
He's
solid
sprint.
wound to him as well. So he kind of clutches at his side as you. Seriously, what's wrong? What's going on? Roll 20. Clutches at his side. Sorry, as you stab him, basically slash at him. I'll get his hit points in just a moment. Okay. Alright, Flynn.
Okay, time to retaliate on this guy that's been trying to perforate me.
And we're just gonna put. There we go.
Oh, jeez.
It's
I
alright.
don't know if
I'm
that
just
hits or not.
putting that over. Yes, that does hit. There we go. We're just gonna park that.
Ow!
It's only a 6. It's not the +4. The +4 is just in case he had advantage and he had rolled a natural
Oh.
20. That's why the 25 was green. We have it set up by default to roll 2 dice in case there's advantage or disadvantage for the DM's information.
Okay.
Otherwise,
And I
you just
imagine
go with the
he's
first
probably still
number.
standing.
So
He is not actually. This guy crumples to the floor. 'Cause I'm pretty sure that's the one. Wait, hang on one second. Can I go back and look? Which one, Thorn? Which one had you stabbed previously with your?
That one.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh,
Yeah,
something
I'm
really
attacking
weird.
the one that's above me on the map.
Okay, that's really weird. All right, let me switch these. Then actually, let me this. Shy, you when you slash at this one, he clutches at his side, and then he crumples to the floor. So this guy
Shot.
is down. And this guy just took the 6. Okay, something weird is going on with my view. I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay. So Flynn, you are you kicking him? Are you punching him? What is your unarmed strike?
That attack was just a punch. And I
Okay.
imagine he's still standing.
All right. Yes, he is.
Okay, sir. For a bonus action, I'm going to spend my very first key point of this campaign and do flurry of blows on him.
Nice.
2 unarmed strikes.
Okay. Nice.
that's why there's 2.
I imagine that misses.
That does miss.
Yes.
That hits.
That doesn't.
Nice.
He's swaying like kind of well, unfortunately for him, but he looks very much worse for wear. He's on the stake scale. He is well done.
Never mind. I'm not going to go there this time around. I was going to point out height difference, but never mind.
Speed
And
bag.
you want to headbutt him? That's totally fine.
No, I was thinking more like what Knight said with speed bag and.
Gotcha.
It's gonna be a lot of that, I feel.
Yeah.
I'm only 3 foot tall. I'm hitting probably about 2.5 feet high.
At some point, Palkas is just gonna pick you up and hold you in front of somebody, so you just at the face.
Making a back kick to the face for doing that.
I'd be like the scene with Bucky Barnes and Rocket Raccoon.
No, one of these times I'll just jump on somebody's shoulders and start hitting from there.
When you want to punch people in the face. Yep. Yeah, so he's
But
kind of...
yeah, that'll end my turn.
He's doubled over and swaying. This poor person.
If I had any
Under
action
the
left, I'd topple him into the pool. But
Excuse me.
Alright, Palkas.
actually, for movement, so that I'm not actually moving out of his... So he doesn't get an attack of opportunity or anything like that.
Okay.
I'm just going to move over, kind of move around him. That way it
Okay.
gives room for others to get in.
Cool.
You'd like to think that now, wouldn't you? Palkas stays exactly where he's at. Because he saw
In the event
some
that
dude
they
walk
want to
in
come in.
with a magic skull dangling on a rope, and he's all like, "Oh no, you didn't." And he's
Don't forget the creepy fingernails.
right, creepy fingernails, and he's going to use catapult. He then he's got them all in both hands. He then just holds it in one and opens the flap with his torch bag again, and one torch rises up and goes and shoots at him. Of which he needs to make a dexterity
since
save.
Catapult makes a straight line attack. It's a good thing I moved out of the way, thank you. Otherwise, I would have been making the first dex check.
Oh, he totally fails his dex save. Did not see that coming at all.
21 torch damage in his head.
Oh, he
And the
goes...
torch destroys itself in the process too. So.
Boop. He is done.
I call dibs on his robes.
I call dibs on the skull.
I think Palkas has dibs on the skull. Unless you want the torch in the face as well.
Actually, good point.
And the torches that you've seen are pretty deadly as well.
Yeah.
You just one-shot that guy with a torch. How did he manage that?
I mean, so far I've seen 2 torch actions, and for both of them I have a lot of respect. I respect Palkas.
Okay.
I'm just glad there was no surge.
Yeah.
Malvola.
Okay, I'm heading for the guy that's the only guy standing on the south end.
Okay. This guy.
That one.
Okay.
Drawing my flail, spitting out words in infernal, like I'm cussing at this guy.
Oh.
My
Gotcha.
the flail is enveloped by that dark purple nastiness that I shot at the other people last week, and the weapon changes. It becomes really twisted, spiky, creepy looking. Like, okay, that's just not right.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try and put this guy's lights out.
Nice.
Does a 16 armor class hit?
It does, yes.
And that'll be 9 damage.
Nice.
Okay. So this this kind of dark, creepy purple magic that envelops your weapon, your flail, just kind of wraps itself around him, and kind of it's almost like it's constricting him and does some significant damage to him. He is looking very wounded by this attack, but he is still standing. So Palkas, was catapult a level 1?
It sure was.
Do you want to roll the d20?
Here, for those that don't know what's going on, because I'm a wild magic mage, I've got a wild magic surge, which means I get bonuses for this. One, I can use an ability that would grant me advantage, or the better of 2 rolls, once a day, that has a chance of recharging after a surge. Otherwise, the negative part, which could be a positive, is that after casting a spell, I roll and we find out what happens. That's just how it goes. So a D20. Hold on, let me move the turn order here. D20. There we go. Nothing. On a 1, a surge happens and craziness ensues. So nothing happened there. It was fine. It's all fine. We're on a stealth mission. It's good.
For those watching, there's a possibility that a surge could wind up in a TPK, total party kill.
Yeah. This is how Palkas ended up getting the scars to begin with. He accidentally cast Fireball upon himself once. He doesn't even know the spell.
I didn't know that could do that.
So, Malvola, are you actually standing in front of this guy, or?
I believe I forgot to move my token.
Okay, no worries. Right, Thorn.
Sorry, forgot which. My original target was going to be that guy, but well, that got taken care of.
Sorry, not sorry.
He's like
He got torched.
Impaled. He's impaled by 1,000 splinters at the moment. It's like death of 1,000 splinters.
It's like Soul Reaver.
At least he had a warm death.
Yeah, was it lit before you catapulted it?
No.
Okay.
It's
Then it wasn't that warm.
It's just a stick. But I like to stick it to him. So
I think you got the point. What?
All right, let's try and finish this guy. Suddenly, there are 6 more Nightblades, and they're all stabbing everybody who has puns.
I give up.
Okay, so
I have protection against puns.
all right, Thorn.
How you doing there, Thorn? You got stabbed, what, once or twice? I can't remember.
That hits.
Nice.
Are you muted, Thorn?
I think he is.
Oh,
I think he's...
sorry. I apologize.
It was funny watching your lips move, but nothing coming out.
It's definitely for the best. It's always for the best. Yeah, I'm hitting him.
Yeah, yeah.
Fairly well, apparently.
Yes,
Wow.
you hit him very well. There's strike down, through him with your short sword, and it, cleaves a massive kind of wound into his, collarbone area, and he collapses to the floor.
Okay, great.
Okay. So this guy, he's gonna try and hit you one more time, Flynn. Hit Flynn one more time. 13, I think, does not hit.
What was it?
13?
Nope, that misses.
Yep. Okay.
Worst Nightblade ever.
Coyra. This guy is like epic fail.
I'm going to take the risk standing in front of Palkas' reach and try to help Flynn out. And I use my scimitar again.
Okay. Ooh, nope.
Now
Not
chip on some wood again.
Not that I wanted you to fail, but I'm glad you missed.
I
I want to finish this guy off myself.
Alright, do it.
Okay, we're going to make an unarmed strike, but we're going to make this interesting. Donkey kick.
Okay. That hits.
I hear they're in this season.
Yep.
Drop down to both hands. Both feet come up behind me, kicking him,
Okay.
knocking him against the wall.
Yeah, so you hear and feel this kind of crunch of ribs underneath your kick, and he staggers back into the corner and collapses to the floor.
Awesome.
Okay. And then there is stillness and quiet, and you'll kind of stand there for a moment, catching your breath, as your enemies lie dead on the floor.
If there seems to be no more enemies around, I'm gonna start searching this guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to search these two particularly for documents and religious symbols. I
Okay.
don't care about anything else.
All right.
Did Thorn
I'm
actually
taking
take
dagger
damage?
and any money.
Yeah,
And considering taking the rope,
someone else can have. Actually, the rope's not a bad idea, but someone else can have the money.
Okay. So they don't seem to have any money on them. But they the hooded figures do have a couple of kind of very curved daggers on them. And they do have these very kind of voluminous dark robes. And as far as religious symbols, they have a palm, a symbol of a palm on kind of a crude kind of wooden symbol around their neck.
Well, so that sort of palm,
Oh, hang on. Let me
or
look.
the tree sort of palm.
Like like a handprint.
so there's no insignia on the robe itself.
No, not on the robe itself.
In that case, I'm taking the dagger and the robe.
Okay.
Palkas is checking out the necromite of miracle.
Okay. So he does have this super sweet skull flail.
Oh, that's a flail. Okay.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, and he does have this kind of heavy roped chain around his neck as well. It doesn't look like it's a particularly precious metal, but he's got that going on. What else does he have on him?
Would I be able to ascertain if there are any items that might be of magical use upon him?
How would you be trying to ascertain this?
A wizard's book, spell
you're looking for
components, things of that nature. Perhaps something more obvious, even like a glowing item. You know, I don't have detect magic or anything, but
Okay. Yeah, you don't find anything on him except this skull flail and maybe half of a sandwich. No, I'm just kidding about the half a sandwich, but
that's a shame.
but he
Gives him
doesn't.
the sandwich.
The sandwich is cursed.
What kind of meat is that in that sandwich?
It's very dry.
So not the
ham
flail.
is just so salty. Sorry.
So not the flail, but the chain on around his neck.
Yeah.
Would I be able to ascertain if that would have some kind of religious connotation to it, or if it was just?
You don't see any religious symbols on it.
If there's a purpose for him to wear that, I mean, he looks like he's wearing some pretty crappy looking clothes. Why would he have this chain around his neck?
I mean, it is super grungy looking.
Okay.
You're not sure?
You would probably know that Mal knows that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So Palkas would grab the flail,
Okay.
and say, Malvola, I'm unfamiliar with these items or if they held any value to you. And he just holds the flail up, and with the other hand kind of points with the maul at generally the guy's chain. Obviously difficult to point with a maul, but it's something that Palkas does. And he holds the flail over to you.
That is not a good roll.
So you don't think that either of these items are like religious symbols?
But that flail is super cool.
It's a sweet looking flail. It doesn't seem to be kind of, have anything religious about it, aside from the fact that it's a skull,
Yeah, I don't see any particular specific significance to it. But, I mean, it might be... With cultists, who knows?
And this guy, does he have one of those little hand marked palm symbols on him?
Nope, he
doesn't.
not. He does not.
Okay.
Is this symbol coloured?
It's
palm.
It is kind of, it's tough to tell whether this is just because it's dirty or because it's supposed to be this colour, but it is kind of this dingy grey colour.
Grey. Okay.
It's like a painted wood.
Thorn visibly deflates and relaxes a bit.
Okay.
I'm going to kick one of the corpses in the head as well.
Okay.
Upon handing over the flail, Palkas turns around and says, "It seems they were waiting for us."
Think they knew we were coming?
Well, we did make a little bit of noise. I mean, we might have tripped an alarm spell just opening the gate.
Do you have a light source with you?
I have torches.
I've got a lantern in my bag, but I haven't taken it out.
Okay.
Actually, if it's that dark in here, I am going to take it out and light it up.
What races were these people?
Just so I can see.
Let's see. They were humans.
Okay. So obviously it's light enough that they can see, or they had some other means of being able to see in here as well.
Yeah, you don't see any light sources in here, so.
Yeah, unless somebody else wants these daggers, I'm collecting the daggers and putting them in my bag with the robe. Daggers might come in handy later on. I assume they've got the same stats as like a regular dagger.
They do, yeah.
Palkas says, "Should we leave our evidence here?" And kind of points at one of the corpses.
I don't think it matters at this point.
Well, I think if we happen to find that secret room, we could put him there and leave a message, basically.
It's this room I'm here at. This one came out of it, and Thorn determined that there is another building connected.
We don't know if this is all of them either.
Either way, Palkas starts like grabbing the necromite of Merkel and the other corpses, like two at a time. He puts them all down and proceeds to drop them off in this room.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what I was going to suggest, because...
I'll let the bigger, stronger people handle that.
I agree.
What are other people's strength scores in our party? Because I think that we have a very dexterous group, but I don't think we have a strong group.
I have 9, I think.
Okay.
I've got a strength of 10.
Okay.
Mine is 14.
14. Okay.
Also at a
Just-
9.
Okay.
Just making sure that I'm right.
All right.
That's what I see, right?
Gotcha. I'm at a 15.
So Thorn and Palkas get to do the heavy lifting. Got it.
The sorcerer
I'm
is
fine
the
with
strongest one in the party. That's
Oh
great.
no. What
I
could
mean,
possibly
it's
go
kind of
wrong?
on brand for a sorcerer. Really.
As it should be, man.
Okay, yeah, sure, I'll help.
All right, so bodies stashed in the masseuse's room.
Another one just popped up.
Sorry, he's stuck. He's stuck.
Is he on the wrong layer?
No, he's.
I'll unstick him with my
Kill him
dual
quick.
No,
flails.
yep, you're right. You're right. He somehow got moved to completely the wrong layer. He's gone. Okay.
Don't worry, I would have chipped some more wood.
Quick, he turned invisible.
I'm gonna start calling you wood chipper.
That's a harsh name for a druid.
Seriously.
All right, that's what.
Particularly offensive.
I mean, there's a reason I lived in the fortress. Just
Maybe stone chipper. All right.
Yeah, so
I'll move.
While the
Thorn
bodies are being
reckons
moved.
it's around here somewhere. Up
Okay.
and down this wall.
Yeah, while the bodies are being moved, I'm gonna start trying to hunt around this room and try and find
Ooh, nice.
how to open the door, where the
Mhm.
door is.
Mm-hmm. So you're actually kind of, Thorn is kind of like patting down the wall in front of you, and you kind of like looking over what he's doing, and then you look at the wall kind of behind him, and you see like there's just a shift in where it comes together in the corner over there, and you kind of reach over over Thorn's shoulder and just kind of push on it, and the wall just kind of goes pop and like opens up, and you can see
Oh boy.
there is I missed a bit. There we go. There's this kind of beginning of a corridor. It goes around the corner.
Bum bum bum.
Okay, while they're doing that, I'm going to ease the front doors closed as quietly as possible and make sure we haven't drawn any attention from outside.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to do that. Here I can actually let's get rid of.
And then I'll join the rest of them.
Get rid of turn order. Sorry, I left that hanging out there.
So this spot right here is closed off in that corridor.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, this
so
is
it
a
goes.
solid wall.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, here's solid wall. Yeah, this seems to be open here. And you feel like actually kind of there's a rush of cool but kind of stinky air. It smells a bit like damp and sewage, and I don't know, feels quite cool. Kind of rushes as you open the door. Kind of rushes up to greet you.
Who wants to go first?
I will very cautiously step into the corridor, peek around the corner.
Mm-hmm. And you actually, the other thing you see as well, not only this kind of cool stinky air, but also there's light coming from around the corner. And Malvola, as you step around the corner, you see stairs down, and there are two torches in kind of wall sconces, and they're illuminating this staircase here, but it leads down into kind of darkness below.
Okay, then I will report back. We got stairs.
Got stairs here.
Does the
You
door?
staying on point?
I am at the moment. I mean, I'm in the thing, but we've got people all over the building at the moment.
Does this door lock?
Not that you can see.
Okay. Then
Doesn't
he
have a
just closed the
keyhole or
door.
anything.
and proceed to rejoin the party when
Okay.
he's done.
All right.
Okay, since in theory I'm smaller and harder to see, if you guys want, I'll take point.
That's fine by me.
Okay.
Okay. So you
Which,
see,
since I'm small, I can slip past Mal easily enough.
That as a standard thing, you can just walk through a friendly occupied square.
No, I meant physically. I can get through easily enough without you even moving.
so you see, what, about 25 feet of stairway going down in front of you, and it's lit, for the first part, but then you see it kind of open up into a room ahead of you, that is fairly dark, and you do hear kind of dripping, like, water kind of dripping into, more water kind of thing. Or some liquid dripping into some other liquid. Just this kind of steady bloop, bloop.
Is it solid walls on both sides to the end of the stairs, or does it open up on one side?
No, it is solid walls.
I also have a stupid question. You said 25 feet. For me to imagine things. How big is that? As I've never used feet in my life before.
okay.
8 meters.
Thank
Okay.
you.
That
In
gives
that
me
case,
an
I'm
idea.
going to sneak down to the base of the stairs and see if I can once again, the person with no dark vision, see if I can see anything.
Hey, you volunteered, man.
It's
You
lit
just
up.
said that it was
There's
lit down
torches
there.
in the stairwell.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Take
but
one of the
moving light's
torches.
going to draw more attention.
Yeah, so here, I'm gonna take your token over there. You see where it's at? Or
We're gonna have to get you some sunless glasses.
if you zoom out, you should be able to see. I just
Yeah.
dragged your token to kind of to the west.
He's gone.
So you see in front of you this kind of watery chamber, waterlogged chamber. Here, let me describe it to you. Yeah, the chamber at the bottom of the staircase is flooded with foul, disgusting looking water. It smells pretty nasty as well. And Flynn, you're not sure how deep that water is. And it's pretty murky, kind of tough to see, especially in the dark.
You would know that Palkas has the ability to move certain amounts of water.
I'm going to, as quietly as possible, kind of call up. It's like, okay, it's flooded down here, and I ain't going any further. Oh, and it stinks.
You can see kind of just the reflection of the water. You do spot an opening kind of opposite, but you do also see that it definitely goes further this way, but you could probably open it up a little bit more over here.
Actually, I would be able to see to some extent. I've still got my hooded lantern
Okay.
out.
Okay, then yeah, you can see.
I've just got it hooded so that it's a very dim light.
Mm-hmm. Are you kind of peeking around like this corner here? You peeking around the corner?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see the chamber continues on, and there's another opening further along, but it's all fairly well flooded. Or it's all flooded, you're not sure how kind of deep it is. And here, let me open this up as well, because you'd be quite easily be able to see this. There you go.
Yeah, because I'm staying at the base of the stairs and kind of casting the light around. Okay, yeah. Somebody talk and go from here. Because I don't even have anything to check the depth.
Okay.
So are you talking to Malvola when you're saying this then?
Whoever's behind me.
Okay.
I will relay anything, and I will keep heading down the stairs.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
no worries. Makes sense.
Right, folks upstairs. Are you staying where you're at, or are you?
I'm gonna follow them,
Okay.
Let's go.
but I didn't want to be last, so.
Alright.
Palkas will move up to the front.
You're like, excuse
And-
me, come through.
Yeah, and he can actually share the same space, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
as the halfling monk.
Yep.
So then he'll say, "Shine the lantern here," and points directly in front of him, and he'll cast shape water to make it clear.
Okay.
Can we see a bottom?
Is shape water a cantrip?
It is.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, you can see. I'm gonna check all the time now.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
So
I'm fine with it being a cantrip considering I'm standing in the same spot.
And what is this?
Very interesting. So Palkas has this spell. You've probably seen him use it maybe before where well, do you want to describe what you do?
Sure. Basically, well, let's actually open up the spell list here, and I can actually click it here in chat. So this is a cantrip. Cantrips are spells that you can cast repetitively without any any problems, but it will cost typically an action or a bonus action to cast them. This one has a range of up to 30 feet, and I'm just it takes place in like about a 5-foot area. And I can choose one of several different effects to take place. In this case, I'm going to cause the water to change its opacity so that it can be very clear to see through, hopefully.
So that's like 1.5 meters.
1.5 meters, there you go. All these squares are 1.5 meters. There you go. Just go with that. I can do other things like freezing the water, moving the water, but only in a small area and for a short amount of time, depending upon the effect.
So you clear the water of all the murk, and you can see that it is about 2 feet deep.
Oh. Does it look like it's going down in a slant or anything?
Nope, not in this tile.
Okay.
At least my head would be above the filth.
Palkas then freezes the water.
Okay. You've got a big ice cube in front of you.
Yep. And
Big
proceeds
flat
to
ice cube.
proceeds to try and look through the next square, going straight forward. And doing the same thing. If it's just a couple feet or something like that.
You can choose an area. So you're casting it again. You're just kind of spamming it, basically.
Yeah, more or less. Clearing the water, and if it's not that deep, freezing it.
Okay.
Well, looking at the description, he should be able to do like 2 tiles at a time if it's only 2 feet deep, because it fits in a 5-foot cube.
Yeah, I'm just taking my time with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting on the stairs where it's relatively dry.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, you can kind of end up with like a nice little kind of ice rink in this chamber.
Going
Dang, I
across.
forgot my skates.
Oh, right. Oh, you're going across. Okay.
So, I mean, that's kind of what Palkas was going
yeah.
for. Was
Well, you guys would be able to see this anyway, actually, because you have all
You'd
kinds
say-
of good night vision going on, as well as the lantern. So
so the water just keeps going.
the water keeps going, and it goes kind of down this corridor that bends.
So Palkas says that this once we get to like a few spaces out, Palkas turns to the rest of the group and says, "It appears the water is shallow. I can freeze it to make it simple and quieter for us to walk on, but it will be slippery. What do you
Looks
desire?"
like there might be an opening to the right, too.
And Palkas looks over and says, "Ah, well, which direction shall we go? Straight ahead is more water."
Can we take a look what's to the left then first?
So Palkas will work his way
Can you move your token, please?
over there, I guess. Yes. Sorry.
It's alright. Just, want to know where you're at so the traps can get you.
Yep.
I'm
So
just kidding.
I'll do like
Maybe.
a little I don't know. What do we got?
Not last.
Ice cube here, ice cube here, ice cube here, and he'll keep on moving over.
Okay.
Until he can peek around the corner from that spot. Let's move him over here.
Okay. So you see, there's this kind of chamber that looks like that, and it's also waterlogged.
Palkas says it's a dead end. More water. The other path turns around the corner.
Then I guess it would be beneficial if we go to the right.
And Palkas backtracks over here and proceeds to make more ice cubes. There.
Ice cubes nobody would want in their drink.
True story.
Palkas will say the water will thaw within an hour. And then proceeds coming down here.
Okay.
Don't know if I need another ice cube, but I will do that there. And there.
Alright, so wait, hang on. 10, 20, 30. Okay. So you can kind of see it like
He's
this.
going to try to be quiet the whole time he's doing this. So I don't know if I need to roll stealth checks
Yeah,
or what.
please.
So, what's that?
Just for shiggles, sure.
I'm just waiting for somebody to go slip and splash.
So you see, at the end of this curve, there are stairs going up out
Palkas
of the water.
would actually say there are stairs and proceed to make more ice cubes through the length.
Okay.
I think I just clicked off screen somewhere.
Yeah,
There
you
it
did.
is. Got it.
Oh, well done. Yeah, so it is quite slippery. So you kind of, as you guys are moving around on the ice, it's kind of like, especially in this area, your feet are kind of sliding a bit, and you occasionally get precariously close to the edge of the ice and almost in the water. Very stinky, splashy water.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get kind of into the hallway, into the corridor here, you can kind of brace yourselves, you know, using the walls to steady your steps so that you don't slip over. The walls, by the way, are kind of rough-hewn stone.
Palkas stops at that point and says, "My job's done," and looks back to who else was supposed to be scouting at this point. He recognizes he's terrible at scouting ahead.
Okay. So you
I'll
still...
creep forward. Want me to make a stealth check?
Yes, please.
Sneak check.
Boop, 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 boop. Do, do, do. Okay. So you see
Ooh, that stinks as bad as the water.
the corridor proceeds. It's dry, and at the end of it, there is a wooden door.
Oh no, wood.
Thorn, looks like we've got a door ahead, so you're up.
Okay.
Not that I'm letting him go ahead just in case there's traps anywhere between.
Is it actually locked?
How should I know? I haven't checked.
I mean, are you trying the handle?
Yes.
Okay. No, it is not locked.
Okay.
It's a mimic.
Actually, I'm moving back around the corner a little bit just in
I'll
case.
just fling it open.
Okay. So you see before you a hexagonal room. Or not, excuse me, an octagonal room. Even. Just a couple of sides there. You know what, I'm just doing this. There we go. Like that. So you see a couple more doors, and a corridor opening to your right.
I'll look back over my shoulder and see that no one's actually in sight. And
So
say, it's okay, come on.
the doors do have carvings on them, actually. So
Interesting.
the one to the east, this one here, bears a carving of a tall armored man wearing a bucket helm. And his right gauntlet is painted black, and it clutches a set of shackles. It's quite a nice carving, actually. And this one to the south has portrayal of a cloaked figure whose face is hidden under a cowl, and in his skeletal hands he clutches a screaming human skull.
Is it actually screaming, or is it in a screaming visage?
It's in a screaming kind of... It looks like it's screaming. It's not actually screaming.
Okay.
I mean, he looks like a friendly guy.
Yeah.
He's just dropping off your morning paper, really.
The kind you invite over for the holidays, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's October for something, right?
It's not exactly my forte, but can I try a religion check given what we're told by Zodge?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh,
Actually.
wow.
You know there. Well, you see
That's
two.
the symbol of Paylor.
There are two dead guys.
Mine isn't much better.
You're missing one. You know you're missing one.
Ice cream.
There's some really nice carvings.
You know you're missing one.
Yeah, pretty. It looks lovely. Coming up. Nice artwork.
I mean, there's some skill involved in carving doors like this.
Probably took them a long time to carve this too.
Yeah.
Especially with the level of detail.
What's happening down the corridor thing?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. My bad. This goes downstairs to another watery bit. And you can see it kind of like, actually, let me open it up a bit more. I see more ice cubes in your future. Like this.
Well,
I get chilled thinking about it.
These have got to be like staff bedrooms, right? There's like the guy who's fairly good at fighting, the guy who's fairly good at magic. We've got to check these out.
Say that again?
We ought to check these bedrooms out. Like there's the fighter and the wizard, and they got a bit creative because they're gothy or something.
See, I feel like we have the most luck with the skull guy since Palkas killed someone holding a skull earlier.
That's true. He was a pushover. Well, he was a torchover anyway.
He's a torch bearer.
Is that door locked as well? Or locked or anything, or is it just openable?
If you try the handle.
I will try the handle.
Okay. You find that it is not locked. The handle moves freely, and you hear
And bites you.
We're waiting for it.
I'm not going to open it, but I'm going to check the other door to see if it's locked or not.
Okay. That one is also not locked.
Yeah, well, let's open this one.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Palkas listens down the open passageway for
That's a
anybody.
corridor here, and then it opens up into a room. And there are. Hang on 1 second, actually. Sorry, one moment. There are 3 bodies on the floor. Here, I'm gonna mark. This is what I'm just.
They look like people in the bathhouse earlier.
Boop, 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 and boop, boop.
They hear lots of boobs.
Hang on, I was just marking where the bodies are.
Okay.
No, you said there were 3 bodies, and that was like 8 boobs.
One boop.
It makes me think these people are like not intact.
So you see, let me just.
You had to mark each piece.
I did. Lying on the floor of this otherwise empty room are pale bodies of 3 humans in filthy robes, arranged in a triangular formation. A lit torch lies between them. A rough-hewn staircase leads to the left, leads down to another torch-lit chamber. So you can see down here, like this.
By the way, Palkas was listening down the corridor for anybody that from the water area.
Okay. Do you have a perception check for me, please?
I can do that.
Thank you.
Plain old 10.
You do not hear any movement from that direction.
Thank you.
Thorn's going to call up just some dead guys.
Flynn was trying the door, right?
Then head down.
I just checked to see if it was locked. That's as
Coyra
far as
goes
I
with him,
took that one.
just in case anything happens that he's not alone.
Was that door locked?
It was not locked.
No, it's unlocked.
Thank you, Coyra.
Actually, I'm going to listen to see if there's any noises or any sounds coming from the room.
Oh yeah, listening would have been a good idea, huh?
Yeah, before we entered the place.
I don't hear anything. It must be really thick wood.
What did you say about these bodies? Like,
Just
You-
they look like dead guys.
can I check them if they have gold on them?
Sure.
Yeah, you certainly can. So they are kind of face down, right? This guy here is kind of face down.
Palkas
so-
would approach the torch. Pick it up.
Okay, so the torch is here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Actually, I'll put him there.
okay.
And he just checks to make sure it's not a magical torch, feels for heat.
Okay. No, it looks like a regular torch.
Okay.
Sweet.
It's burning away.
Free ammo.
Is the floor in here dirt, stone?
It's stone.
Okay. Guess there's no easy way for him to put the torch out.
Plenty of water
If he-
around.
Yeah, if he goes back, there's water.
Yeah.
So Coyra, as you're kind of trying to get to the guy's pockets, like, so you kind of try to maybe roll him a little bit, and Palkas, as you're picking up the torch, just kind of thinking about best ways to put that out. Coyra, you discover that they are not actually dead at all, and
Oh.
these guys.
Thorn, you lied.
So he
I knew this was going to go south.
so this guy, as you kind of roll him a little bit to get to his pockets, you discover that he's got his arm kind of tucked to under his cloak a little bit and comes out swinging. So he brings up his flail and is going to try and hit you, but still manages to miss. He rolls a 7 to hit you, Coyra. So, so that misses. Palkas, this guy does the same. Well, he's going to actually kind of like jump to his feet. He does this kind of flip move kind of thing where he uses his body weight to create momentum and hop to his feet. And he is going to try and hit you, and he 19.
Yeah, my armor class is 10.
Okie doke. So he does a big 2 points of damage.
Okay, good.
And then the guy behind you is going to. Ooh, hang on.
No.
So evens it's Palkas, odds it's Coyra. So odds, okay. So he does the thing with his Kalima, with his clawed hands, and is going to try and cast this spell, and fails. Guys, it's like you've got this fantastic opportunity, guys. All you have to actually do is hit them.
Do something.
And they're just epically failing. Okay.
So are these more necromites? Or are these something else?
They are swinging flails that look quite similar to the necromite guys that you just...
So they're likely to be living then?
I
guess what I'm asking is, would I visibly be able to tell that they are undead?
Do you think... no, you do not think they are undead.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thorn, you are looking around this room. Sorry, one sec. Nobby and Malvola. And you see that this chamber is partially collapsed around the stone sarcophagus. And it is open.
Right. Is there anything in it?
There's a bunch of kind of rags and human bones, humanoid-looking bones in the sarcophagus. There's there's kind of a pile of them, actually.
Okay.
But you do hear from the next room.
Yeah.
Palkas said, they're not dead.
I'll speak over to Thorn and just going like, I think I've made a mistake. We may need your help up here.
Sorry.
Okay.
So now, how about all that water back there?
Flynn and Malvola, what were you? I mean, this is kind of happened, but obviously you guys were doing stuff while Coyra and Palkas were kind of messing around with that. So what were you guys up to while they were kind of starting to loot?
Making new discoveries.
I was kind of curious as to what was going on in the room to the east. So I'm basically looking over Thorn's shoulder, torso, entire self kind of thing.
You mean Flynn?
Yes, sorry.
Basically, I imagine we're probably both ear to the door trying to figure out if there's anything going on in there.
Okay. And you made...
Or at least that's the last thing I was doing.
Okay, and you made your perception, I see that. Oh, hang on, you might hear something. One sec. You hear kind of muffled kind of cries. They seem quite distant. like somebody is in pain. But they seem quite distant.
Can I do a perception to get a direction on that?
Yeah, I mean, you're listening as well, so yeah, go for it. You think, I mean, it's kind of echoing down this, it almost sounds like there's kind of another corridor beyond the door because it's the cries are like echoing towards you.
Was there a carving on this door?
Yeah, that one is... Which one is that?
That was the evil knight in the pot helmet.
That's the guy. He's wearing gauntlets, and his right gauntlet is painted black and clutches a set of shackles. Super fancy carving.
Mm-hmm.
I closed the door to the north. Is that one carved?
Oh, nice move. It is. So this door bears the carving of a powerfully built skull-headed man with long curved blades where his hands should be.
Ooh, nice.
This sounds lovely.
It's a sight.
Do I even need to roll to identify that this is the Dead Three?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. My character doesn't know this, but
It's actually a T-1000.
Um,
We're screwed.
You know,
I didn't think this was going to be one of those campaigns.
the doors are actually mimics.
So you don't need to roll that as the Dead Three because this was your mission. But if you want to figure out which one's which, then I'd say you'd need to roll for that.
And wow, I continue to stink it up. I don't get it.
You think that this one that you just, the one on this door that you were just looking at, you think that's Ball? Maybe?
Yeah, that's what it was. You were distracted by the fight that the others found.
Yeah, and then suddenly, while you're standing at it looking, is this one Ball? Or is that one Ball? I think it's this one. And then behind you, suddenly, these guys do their battle cry as they kind of swing at Coyra and Palkas. All right, now let's roll initiative.
Cast a glance at Mal. Here we go again.
Okay. Ooh, nice one. Necromites.
Of course, I rolled a 15, but I didn't have the thing selected.
Ooh.
Nice work, Palkas.
He's gonna need it.
Yes,
Okay.
don't forget you can disengage as an action. And
Oh, I won't.
All right, so they've had the surprise round on you guys. So Palkas, it is your turn.
He disengages.
You don't want to be a Palkas sandwich? No.
He already is a Palkas sandwich.
Palkas kebab.
He's one of those two.
Which?
Of which he moves over there.
Malvola, Palkas just came barreling past you. Actually, that door was closed.
Oh, that was close.
Whack!
Yep.
Okay.
Bonk!
Well, then he comes over here and he proceeds to say, "They're not dead," and he drops before, or he drops the torch before leaving the room, so it's still sitting on the floor.
Okay. So yeah, Palkas still comes kind of barreling in between you guys, and he's kind of squished up against the wall a bit. They're not dead.
He's,
Right. Is there anything you want to do, or you just?
he used his action to
Okay.
disengage.
All
and
right, that's true. Okay. Yeah.
bonus action
Right,
to
Thorn.
say stuff.
To say stuff.
Thorn's going to step up to behind Shy.
He knows when the odds are not in his favor to get
Take
out
a
of that.
swing at the one that attacked Shy last round.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. He's gonna have a bit of cover being around the corner, but go for it. He doesn't. He still hit him.
Yay!
Rolling well tonight. But,
Wow. Okay. And
and while I'm doing that, I will say to Coyra, disengage and get into the other room.
Yeah, I was actually planning that already.
okay. All right. Especially since Palkas just left you, like, wow, so rude.
Get the squishies off the front line.
All right. So these necromites. I'm sorry, Coyra. They. Well, you know what? This guy is gonna try and attack back. Around the guy that just stabbed at you. So he's swinging his flail, and 19 to hit.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Okay. And he does 4 bludgeoning damage.
What is bludgeoning damage?
So that's like blunt
MB.
force.
Okay.
Use a mace or a hammer. And there's piercing damage if you stab someone with like a rapier. And then there's slashing damage if you swipe them with a scimitar or a sword. Some creatures might have resistances or weaknesses to such things. For
Yeah.
instance, often trying to stab a skeleton is not as effective as trying to smash it with a big hammer.
Makes sense.
These 2 other guys, I'm afraid, are going to try and do their ranged magic attack at you. This guy over here has a 14 to hit you.
The hits.
Okay. Okay. He does 7 points of necrotic damage.
Ouch!
So this kind of out of its like clawed hands, this dark energy bolts towards you, and you feel kind of like it sucked some of your life away from you. And then the other guy is going to do the same thing. This guy in the corner.
7 you said, right?
7, yep. Oh, and he rolls a natural 1. So,
What is it that they're doing when they cast their spell?
so they are, they have like an arcane kind of chant that they do.
Would I recognize it?
You could do an Arcana check to see if you do. Nope, you don't.
It's something magic.
It's definitely magic. Coyra.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no worries.
So, since it would be the smartest thing for me to do is disengage. 1, 2. Since I can go 6 steps, I'm gonna hide on these stairs.
Okay.
What disengage represents is that you're using your action, which you would normally use to cast a spell or attack, and instead you're using it to try and avoid all attacks and move. So that is what you're doing for your action. You still would have an opportunity for a bonus action if you want.
No,
But-
I'm fine on these stairs.
Okay. Alright, Flynn.
Once more into the fray.
Some more cultists to kill. Classic Tuesday. Okay.
Well, since it's the middle of the night, is it Tuesday or technically Wednesday? But yeah, I'm gonna punch the guy in the corner.
Okay. That hits.
Ooh, lovely.
Okay.
And if he hasn't gone down,
He is not.
I've only got one more key point left.
Yeah, they burn so easily, don't they?
Well, especially at level 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with my bonus action, I'm just gonna another punch. Regular.
Okay. That misses.
Or not.
Okay. Malvola.
Swing and a miss.
I had an idea for something I want to do, but I don't think the targeting on this is selective. So I'm going to not.
Okay.
You could always try it and find out. Or you could,
For science!
Yeah,
could ask
I
the
don't
DM
want to
if you
be
know.
like single-handed TPK guy. I don't want to do
You could always ask the DM. She might be able to tell you if your character would know stuff that you might
I'll
not.
remember that, Vallen. Since I'm the one primarily in the path.
You're not going to kill Coyra. It won't be a TPK.
Would moving to this space trigger attacks of opportunity from this guy or
No.
either of them?
This guy, I think, could swing at you as you kind of, because you'll be here and then, which is in his threat range, and then you'll kind of move past it. But these other two, they'll be fine because you're still within their range.
Yeah. All right, then I will go here and attack the south one.
Okay. Alright, so first this guy's going to try and hit you with his flail. And he misses.
Well done.
This guy's so inept. Right?
And
You
I
say that like it's a bad thing.
It is.
and I totally fail to attack. That's technically rolling a 1.
You flailed.
You use the flail from the guy upstairs.
You're
No.
you're dodging out of the way of this guy's flail, trying to hit this guy, and it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Really quick, stupid question. If I have a spell, how many times can I use it?
A number of times of your spell slot that you have for that spell level.
Aha. And if I don't understand that?
Let's have a look. So
As you get higher levels of spells or spell slots,
Yeah.
you can sometimes increase the spell level that you're casting it at and increase damage or effect or range or something like that.
So you see, like, when you're looking at your level 1 spells, like Animal Friendship, Entangle, and Cure Wounds, see how you've got 3 slots total? Yeah. So you can, that means you've got 3 castings for level 1.
Okay.
Also, before this gets lost to the initiative order and answering questions and things, I will tell the other 2 guys, get out of the room.
I mean, I think that's a fair warning.
Yeah.
Okay. Palkas.
Palkas moves here. No, Palkas stays where he was. So would he have
better not have
a shot at this guy?
He was gonna do.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you've got line of sight to that dude.
Am I gonna be dodging a torch?
You don't have to dodge, you're too short.
No,
or, I mean, actually, in this case, you're just the right height, because it's just...
So with this, Palkas holds up his maul, like kind of straight up a bit, reaches out a hand, and a ghostly hand comes off of his hand, shoots straight forward at that cultist. This one here.
Okay.
Big piece pip slap.
Actually, yeah, it's chill touch, so it's just a cantrip.
Oh, nice.
But it's you create a ghostly skeletal hand in the space of a creature within range, which is within 120 feet, etc. So let me cast that one.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, it's just a cantrip.
Yep. I'm sure 9 does not hit, but there you go. And it just kind of goes and just misses as he's fighting with you guys. It just kind of passes through into the wall to no effect.
Okay. Any bonus actions you want to do?
That was it.
Okay. Right, Thorn.
Okay, Thorn is gonna take another stab at this guy.
Okay. That hits.
Why didn't I do it? Oh.
And you cleave into him with your short sword, and he crumples to the floor.
Nice.
Fantastic.
That's
And
why I
then,
missed.
following Malvola's warning, I'm gonna stand around there.
Okay. Cool. All right.
That's the other kind of disengage.
Yeah.
You take out those that are threatening you. Nice.
When you get lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Eliminate threat and just calmly walk away.
So this guy is going to try and hit you, Flynn, with his flail. 10, so he misses. Then this guy is going to do the same versus Malvola, and he has an 11 to hit you, Malvola, which I think
that does not hit.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I've got a 13, so.
Yeah, these. Okay, Coyra.
Am I safe to assume when it says on a spell touch that I can also use it on myself?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna heal myself a little bit.
Nice.
Cast at one level. Level 1, of course.
And while you're standing, kind of looking or healing, you can see that this kind of goes round the corner a little bit.
Yeah.
And so does this. And you also see, like, at the end here is a fairly disturbing tapestry. And you just glance at it quickly. But it looks like it's a pretty grisly, gruesome scene on this tapestry. It's a really big tapestry. It's 7 foot tall. Oh, hang on. Let me convert. So it's just over 2 meters tall by like 1.5 wide. So it's fairly big tapestry.
They're healing that. They're basically meant that I heal 4 points, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, Flynn.
Okay, let's punch this guy again.
He's going
That
for the
hits
other
him.
disengage.
He's still standing. He's still standing.
I take it that does that take him down?
Nope, he's still standing.
Since I use my action to attack, I can't do a traditional engage unless I use a burn a key point. But I'm not. No, I'll. If there's an attack of opportunity, I'll soak it. I'm gonna head down to the same chamber as Thorn.
Okay. Right, yep, he's gonna go for it, and he misses. God damn it, these guys suck.
I'm too fast and nimble.
You are. You dodge out the way as this flail kind of swings past you, and you hear this crunch as it smacks the stone floor behind you.
Looking back over my shoulder.
Alright, Malvola. They've followed your advice.
I cast Arms of Hadar.
Okay.
Nice.
Let me get the description here. Because this is actually, it sounds visually really cool.
Yes, it does.
You invoke the power of Hadar, the Dark Hunger. Tendrils of dark energy erupt from you and batter all creatures within 10 feet of you. Each creature in that area must make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, they take 2d6 necrotic damage and can't take reactions until their next turn. On a successful save, the creature takes half damage but suffers no other effect.
Okay. Alright, that's strength.
Cool.
Alright, here we go. So let's say this is for this guy. He rolls a 16 for his strength saving throw. So
Half
he takes
That will
half,
pass.
and the other guy rolls a 14. So
Have to.
The 14 is equal to my spell save DC. Well, see, I don't get why this is saying 10 for the strength save in chat.
yeah, I see that.
And then on my character sheet, it says,
14.
I think that's assuming I'm rolling the save for some reason.
Actually, the save, the statistic that the save roll uses, in other words, your spell modifier or whatever, has not been specified, so it defaulted to nothing, and it rolled. It's rolling a 10 or something like that. It just goes with a default of 10 plus your modifier.
So this guy kind of like cries out, and he's kind of flailing around trying to get this dark energy, off, basically off him, so he's kind of flailing and it just envelops him and kind of takes him down to the floor, and when the magic recedes, it's just a crumpled dead body remaining. This guy kind of like takes the hit, but is quite significantly damaged from it.
That sounds awesome, and none of us got to see it. Next time.
I might be able to see a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Palkas saw arms shooting out. Dark magic arms of hunger.
They're just hugs.
Hugs, yes. Dark magic hunger
Yes, yes.
That's one way of saying it.
Hugs of evil.
I was just showing them some love. That's all.
The way that I picture this, if anyone has ever played Warframe, the frame Hydroid has an ability that sounds very similar to that.
I have not played it, unfortunately.
Me neither.
I'll
Sounds
try and
good.
find video or something of it. It's actually pretty impressive.
Nice.
All right, so Palkas moves up,
Oh,
charges in, and yells, "Boom!" and
Oh no.
swings away.
Oh boy.
okay.
Um, we'll see
Put
how
him
it
in the other
goes.
room.
Let's do this. And he's going to use his ability, Tides of Chaos, so that he can take the advantage.
Okay. So wait, hang on, let me read this. Anytime before regaining this feature, the DM can have you roll on the wild magic table. Okay, got it. Okie doke.
So I'm going to take that off. So therefore, he rolls a nat 20.
I see.
And does 14 points of bludgeoning molly damage.
Yeah, you just bury this mole in this guy's head, and there's not a lot of it left.
So he was shimmering for a split instant there, but then the spell expired because so did he. Which it was a cantrip, the booming blade.
Okay. Alright. Wait, let me read that again. Anytime before regaining this feature, the DM can have you roll on the wild magic table if casting first.
So
Okay.
if I cast
Yeah,
a
yeah.
first level spell, I could regain it.
Yep, got it. Do you want to roll those dice? Okay. So there's three kind of crumpled and somewhat bloody messes on the floor where these necromites used to be.
Palkas looks at them and then says, "Thorn, you're no longer a liar." Sorry. And he
It
proceeds
was
to
always going to be true in the end.
he
Is
proceeds
this some kind of sarcophagus or something down here?
Yeah, it's full of bones and crap. I got to root around in there.
So you want to root around in the rags and bones? Is that?
Yeah.
That sounds fun. I'm gonna step the torch, put the torch out,
Okay.
pick it up, put it in my bag.
More ammunition.
Yep.
So you find hidden amongst the dust and rags and bones 3 books.
Ooh. Yes.
So one is bound in red leather. One has a rune burned into its umber cover, and one is bound in black scaly reptile hide.
I'll have a look at the one bound in red.
Okay. So this contains what look like. Oh wait, hang on. You think this is a spell book?
Okay. So, next.
Okay.
I mean, I'll tell Palkas if he's interested in the spell book.
Yes.
So then which one are you going for next?
The black one.
The black one. Sorry to disappoint, but you're seeing more arcane writing.
And the last one.
The same again, I'm afraid.
Coyra,
They're
it's
all
safe
spell
again.
books. They're all spell books, Palkas.
We'll gladly take them. As he
There you
motions to Malvola as well. Coyra, it's safe again. Thorn
Coyra
tells the
actually-
truth.
Coyra actually moves over a little bit paler than usual from what she just experienced and what she just has seen. And she tries to explain about the corridor, but more about the tapestry itself.
That sounds fun. We should definitely take that. Tapestries are worth fortune.
Palkas would collect the books and speak to Malvola, saying, "We can look into these later when it's a better time."
Yeah, this is not exactly convenient.
No. These guys all have the really cool flails on them.
They do.
They have chains and stuff on them too.
I mean, it's like they don't seem quite as cool now. I mean,
Yeah.
now there's like 4 of them. You thought you got something kind of unique, and now there's like
I mean,
4.
I would still want one. In real life, then.
There must be a Baldur's Gate hot topic or something.
Right. You flip them over and it says "Made in Portney and Zaru."
Oh. All the best stuff's made in Portney and Zaru. So this room doesn't have any doors or anything. It's just walls that we see.
It
Yes.
doesn't have any doors that you see.
Correct. Excuse me.
Okay.
Show me this tapestry. Palkas walks forward to Coyra, saying as much.
If you are Scottish Lord, then I am Mickey Mouse.
I walk
That's
up
what
to
I
the
think
stairs
of
and I just
every
point
time.
down.
Every time someone says tapestry, tapestries are ruined for me now.
All right.
And I blame Harrison Ford.
Walk over and I take a look at the tapestry, and obviously I see the same thing, I'm assuming.
So yeah, you see it's 5 foot wide, 7 foot tall tapestry depicting grisly scenes of well, are you how close are you getting?
From where I'm at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of like kind of mutilation and you can see like it looks like there's like 5 figures on there, but you're not quite able to make out like exactly what's going on.
Okay. Before proceeding any further, he would say to Coyra, "We should check this out, but I don't think we should split up the group. We should return with them."
I agree.
And you do see a path curving round to the right as well.
I think I mentioned the path, or did I forget?
Okay, sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
It's fine.
So Palkas would say, Coyra found a path and a strange tapestry with figures I can't quite make out without getting closer. Though I feel there may be more dangers closer than what that is. As Palkas motions to the last door that we have yet to open.
Yeah. It's best not to leave enemies behind you. So, are we all feeling up for another bit of exercise?
Palkas says, "I will guard this doorway until we've proceeded through," and backs up to the watery doorway.
Go ahead and open it.
Okay, I'll do just that.
Okie doke.
Boot.
So you say in front of you. Wait, how far is that? 10, yeah, okay, that's fine. Right,
Wait,
you
I
see.
just realized these are Merkelites.
What's a Merklite?
A Merkel, you know, from that old 80s television show, 90s television show.
I'm gonna
That's
Google
Urkel.
it for a second.
Yeah.
Probably if I
Steve
see it
Merkel.
Yep, I know. Next time just say Steve in front of it and I'll know.
Okay.
No worries. I mean, there was before my time, so
Sorry.
I've still watched it though.
So these are stairs going down, and then there is again water at the end.
Well, tapestry in a corner or down the dungeon way?
Can we hear the sounds better that we were hearing before?
Make a perception check.
ain't hearing anything.
Yeah, you don't hear anything.
It's too quiet.
That might be bad news. As though, if I recall correct, those were screams. If they stop, might need
Oh,
to
hold on a second there, Shy. Our
Uh,
Discord connection is cutting up.
Oh yeah.
see.
I'm gonna switch servers. Hold on, people.
Holding.
Hold out for Singapore.
Oh. Oh.
We lost Navi again. Oh,
Oh,
there he
there
is.
we go.
I think
Cool.
it's slightly better.
There.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
Okay,
then,
as it's
there we
still
go.
showing orange for me.
Well, at least it's not red.
Like
For
I
some
said,
reason,
my
it automatically turned off my camera.
Sorry. Well, we'll see how
so,
this one does. What were you trying to say?
yeah, like I was saying, since those were screams for help, if I recall correct, that we now can't hear anything might not be the best sign.
That's
I
true.
think there's danger ahead and probably a dead body.
I mean, it's that kind of place.
Is this corridor lit?
This one?
Yeah.
Nope. It is not.
I'm
Thorn, feel free.
thinking the one without the door is most likely to be less important. So I'm going to wade into the water here and see what I can see.
Okay. So you see this tapestry, and it depicts four faceless figures, and they are actually tearing apart a fifth figure who is screaming, as you do when you're being torn apart.
Yeah, that would do it.
It looks, the tapestry looks quite old and moldy and kind of smells moldy as well.
That's a shame.
What does he see to the north?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
what's that
sorry.
thing?
Listen, you. you're not there.
Death.
You see.
In fairness, I probably was fairly fixated on the tapestry.
So you see wooden beams. These are wooden beams here and here. They're bracing the ceiling of this chamber that is also flooded.
Okay, I'll press on to here.
Okay. And you do see as well, this curves round to the left. There is happy fun times in this chamber. So there's a stone altar and a third beam here, and there is some kind of gruesome remains on this stone altar. It looks like it's covered in some kind of entrails. Hanging on the wall above the altar is a 3-foot-tall steel mask cast in the form of a frowning human skull. Oh, I should do this. So like it's just under a meter tall.
Okay, assuming nothing leaps up to bother me, I'm going to make my way over here and hack at the mask.
Okay. So yeah, you can, when you get closer, this does look like what's on the altar looks like somebody or something's innards. Yeah, it kind of it smells like it's that kind of, iron smell as well. So hack at the so you're going to kind of swing at it with your sword, is that?
Yeah, if I need to stand up on the altar, I will do.
Okay.
And obviously kick the gore out of the way so I'm not too slippery.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it would make it easier to kind of get to the mask.
Okay.
And
Well, let's go for that then.
okay. So Palkas, yeah, and Coyra, you can kind of get a better look at the tapestry as previously described, and you hear Thorn kind of wading through the water to the north of you.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just making sure that I can keep an eye, like keep him within sight.
Okay. Yeah, and you can you see him kind of hop up on this altar. So you swing at the mask, and it kind of dislodges from the wall and clangs down to the ground.
Cool.
So it's kind of in the water now, behind the altar.
Can I guess kind of keep hacking at it a bit?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
don't like organized religion very much.
it's I mean, it's steel, so it is kind of like steel sword versus steel masks. So yeah, you guys hear kind of an immense amount of noise actually coming from the chamber. It almost sounds like something is being
Combat.
Yeah, because you hear like a sword hitting something that could be armor, actually.
I've had an idea. I'll pause. Palkas, get over here. There's something to crush.
I'm working on it. As
It's not that deep.
he freezes it because he just doesn't like the things might be in the water, and he'll constantly keep making sure that it's not too deep, and then freezing his way over, etc. And also making a path for others to go. So.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a nasty, evil mask, religious thing behind the altar. Could you just sort of crush it a bit? It's offending me.
Yes.
You do see that
Thank you very much.
Thorn's boots are kind of like he's standing up on this stone altar, and his boots are kind of like bloodied, actually. Yeah, it's you're not quite sure. And then he kind of jumps down into the water with no
Palkas
no
would
qualm.
point at your boots as you're jumping down and say, "What happened to your boots?"
Oh, entrails.
And he's looking around.
They were there already. They were on the altar already.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah, if you look around, you'll see them kind of floating in the water over here. Okay.
So what do I see at this point? I mean, there's some kind of fresh sacrifice on the altar?
Yeah, so here, let me describe, and then let's
Thorn.
get everybody's reaction. So you see, everybody sees on the altar there's kind of this like kind of bloody smear now, and you see kind of Thorn jump down nonchalantly almost, maybe, I don't know. Well, Thorn, would it be a nonchalant kind of hop down into the water?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So nonchalant hop down into the water, and yeah, there's kind of a bloody mess in the water bobbing around over here, and there's a battered kind of steel shield on the ground behind the altar. Yeah, so sorry. So do you guys want to give reactions? I know there's some stuff going on.
I mean, what the heck's with this mask thing? It's just hanging from some rope or something, or?
The mask thing is now down in the water behind the altar.
Okay.
Is it actually a shield, or is it just like a sign?
It's, as far as you can tell, it looks like a big ass mask.
Okay.
Does it resemble any of the religious symbols that we've seen so far? Or the doors, or...
Yeah, yep. So it does resemble the door that was over here. So the guy had it was a powerfully built skull-headed man. The skull that was on this head, the head of this dude on the door here, resembles the skull shape that is down kind of in the water now.
How heavy is this thing?
I mean, you could lift it fine. It's not.
Well, is it like
It's not
less than
particularly.
5 pounds or anything? Or?
I wouldn't go that far,
Well,
but
if it's metal and it's like 1 meter by, no, it's not that big. It was like a meter by, how wide was it? 2 feet, 1.5 feet?
it's like 3 feet. Yeah.
Okay. I guess Palkas would set it up, because he's used to smashing things with his hammer. That's what he did in when he was in prison. He was put to hard labor. So he'd set it up so that it was like, there's the pedestal, ground, and or here at the edge of the pedestal, ground, and he'd set the shield across it, or whatever it is, the mask, and then try smashing to, kind of bend it in half. He's not that bright, but he is when it comes to smashing things with a hammer. So he would attempt to do so and give it a right good wallop, trying to, at least bend it.
Yep. So yeah, there's a. I mean, Flynn, you were looking for a gong. I mean.
Yep.
It sounds like.
It's bigger than me.
But that's the kind of massive noise that just reverberates around this chamber and then echoes down the hallways where you stand. Is this sound of metal mole on steel mask?
And Palkas says, "There, the job is done."
And it is kind of.
Excuse me.
It looks more like a taco now than a mask.
Fantastic.
While they're busy defacing religious property, I'm going to take a look down this passageway.
Okay. So you see down...
Yes, I'm actually getting down in the yucky water.
Do you have a light source?
I've got my hooded lantern.
Okay, so you're busting that out. Now you want tacos. You see this heads further down, and you see feet bobbing on the surface of the water like here-ish.
Now, when you say feet, are we talking like normal size feet or bigger?
We're talking normal size feet. It's somebody's, and they've got shoes on as well. They're kind of bobbing.
So possibly like a corpse floating?
Maybe.
All right, let's check it out.
It's motionless except for the bobbing, as the waves kind of ripple down there from Palkas's. Everybody's movement. So you're kind of wading in water, Flynn. Palkas, I think they're done with your ice cubes.
It actually is. What's that?
And I said I think they're done with your ice cubes, Palkas.
That's fine.
Tired of waiting on
them. So yeah,
I still have all respect for the ice cubes.
You kind of, this is what you see when you peek around the corner. So this person is floating face down in the water.
Since he's face down in this water, I imagine he's probably dead. But
just
I'll
like the
move
last
forward
3.
and check.
When you get a bit closer, you can see that his corpse is actually kind of bloated from being in the water. And make a medicine check quick, and I'll give you. Can tell you how well. Just I'm gonna share some details with you, and this just lets me know how much to share.
That's better than I expected.
Yeah. So you think he's been dead for about 2 days now? and he's just kind of, yeah. You find knife wounds in his back.
He did not go comfortably. Anything interesting on him?
No, there is barely anything on him actually. Just kind of some robes. Looks like he might have a symbol on him. And yeah, these simple kind of shoes. But he does not have
What does the symbol look like?
anything else on him. Oh, it looks like a skull. Like yeah, something
Oh, so probably another cultist.
something you've seen. It actually looks, now you think about it, it looks kind of similar to that mask that Palkas just tacoed. Aside from that, you see this kind of like over here is a collapsed hallway. So this is just like a dead end. There's just rocks and rocks and rubble that are
As
just
in the
kind
burning
of
kind.
slid down from the ceiling.
Move forward cautiously.
As Palkas approaches, he says, "Were we supposed to keep proof of our efforts?"
Don't know.
Don't think so. He didn't mention it, did he?
I can't remember if he did.
He just said kill them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was pretty much just make the cultists stop.
Make it stop.
Well, there's nothing else. When we get done here, we can just, hey, this is where we found them. You can go check it yourself.
Yeah, totally.
So this is kind of a weird alcove. Like it, yeah, it's just kind of a big wide alcove in the wall.
Oh, that's suspicious.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
It looks weird.
Okay, let's take a closer look.
Okay, do perception. It looks like hewn stone. Oh, sorry, it looks like hewn stone to Malvola. To Flynn, Flynn, you find a kind of secret door hidden in the stonework that opens up. When you push on it, it kind of easily opens, and you see this chamber that you just saw moments ago. Well, maybe a
Okay,
little
I think we
more
can
than
get out of
that.
this water now.
Yeah.
I am really curious why bother with the secret door there, but
Palkas says, "Why is there dead here of their own religions?"
Infighting?
The three fought.
Maybe he cut himself shaving.
Palkas
I don't
actually
wanna know what he was
smirks at
shaving.
that one. I'd like to inspect him because I didn't see the results of what they found. He was trying to find out himself if he could find a cause of death.
Okay, make
He
a medicine
actually
check.
cut himself shaving. There you go.
he fell down an elevator shaft onto some
It was an
bullets.
elevator.
So he seems to have some wounds on his back, and you think he's been dead for a couple of days.
Hmm.
Well, the fact that the knife wounds are in the back kind of means that somebody disagreed somewhere.
Or some real weird shaving.
Yes.
Well, perhaps it wasn't obvious infighting. This one being stabbed in the back. There must be some treachery amongst them.
Yeah, it seems likely.
Excuse me.
Shall we return to the 3 doors?
Well, they do serve 3 evil gods, so
Okay, that's true. Yes, let's.
yeah, I'm going back to where it's dry, at least temporarily.
Okay. Yeah, you're nice and soggy now, kind of dripping on the floor.
Nope.
I ain't cleaning it up.
I'm happy I used the ice cubes.
Well, I deliberately sloshed around with the water to clean my boots off a bit. You know, clean.
Well, is it really that clean?
It's an improvement.
Well, yeah,
Okay,
I guess.
keeping the light on the hooded lantern to the minimum I can and still be able to see. I'm going to move down to the corner.
Okay. So you see, it opens up ahead of you. Flynn is like busting a move, guys. He's like leaving you in the dust.
Meanwhile, Palkas, like as he's walking, is trying to like use shape water to remove water from people's feet so they stop leaving trails and making splashy noises
I
and
love
stuff.
it. I love it.
Squidging shoe noise.
Super detail oriented dude.
I'll gladly go after Palkas then.
Well, now you know why why he ended up being the distraction before.
Okay, hang on. We lost.
Palkas would say, Thorn, perhaps you should check ahead. There you go. IRL sometimes happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Okay, no problem.
Kashcah.
Coyra casually whispers to Palkas, "Thank you for making the floor dry. I appreciate it."
Priorities. Right, so
Someone's just going to wade on in around that corner
okay.
to see what's out there.
All right. So you see this first you see this the eastern part of the room that you're in is unlit, flooded, and braced floor to ceiling with wooden beams. Oh no, Coyra.
All right.
I will smash them, do not worry.
Well, if you don't, I will.
And then further up, rough-hewn steps rise out of the murky water to the western portion of the room, which is lit by 2 torches and sconces that flank a stone altar, and you find the source of your noise that you previously heard. So shackled to the wall behind the altar is a sickly-looking man in a loincloth with a burlap sack over his head. He looks injured. You see kind of wounds on him. There's an alcove that you can just make out kind of in the north wall here-ish, like right here. And standing before the altar are 2 grim figures. Powerfully built woman who is clutching a mace, and an even bigger man who is wearing a bucket helm. The helmed man has a spear which he is pointing at the prisoner. Both figures are clad in chainmail, and the woman carries a wooden shield with a leering skull painted on it.
Okay.
And they are facing you and seem prepared for your arrival.
Okay.
I think that is where we'll actually leave it for today. Something
Unsurprisingly
interesting
prepared for our
to
arrival.
come back to next week.
Indeed. We did send the welcome gong.
Hi, how's it going, guys?
And the skull painted on the woman's wooden shield, I'll just add this little detail, looks nice and bright red, freshly painted.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
With water?
I mean, it's liquid. Mr. Palkas around the corner.
It's water based.
Take it, it's got a nice crimson hue to it.
Yeah, maybe.
Difficult to
touches of
say.
brown
Dark
where it's
vision
starting
only
to
gives like
dry.
shades of gray.
There are torches up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There are torches on either side of this altar here.
Okay. All right. So there you go, folks. Another episode of Descent into Avernus.
Fantastic.
None of us have died yet. Well, except for Bart.
Tune in next time to find out what happens with this group that we have just come across. And thanks everybody for coming out, players, viewers, and of course kashcah. Thank you for DMing.
No problem. Maybe my necromites can hit next time.
No.
Hopefully
No.
not.
No.
They hit once.
I
That
can
was
cast
a
that 3 more
full
times.
shot by it.
All right. Well, thanks again, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
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 Thanks for coming.